Hi everyone! It is Wednesday, November 4th, 2015, and this is episode 43 of Serenova Crafts. I'm your host, Jessica. I can be found as Serenova on Ravelry and Twitter and Periscope now, and I can be found as Serenova_Phoenix on Instagram. I did do a Periscope this week, so I am no longer wondering what I'm going to do when I've done what I did it Monday. I'm actually going to put the video in later on. I'll tell you all about it. But it was an interesting experience. I used my iPad instead of my phone because I can prop my iPad up because it's in a case. It's in a keyboard case, so I can actually prop it up. So that was interesting to do. You guys can watch it towards the end of this video. So anyways, that's my intro. Likes, subscribes, comments, those are all really appreciated. I would like to thank the 2 new followers I have on YouTube. One is Miss Rug by Oust. I don't know if I said that right, but thank you for watching. And Sarah from the Canadian Knitter Podcast. Hi, thank you for subscribing. And then I have one new member of the Ravelry group. That is Celestia22, who is Tanya, who I know from the weekly VKNs through Two Tangled Skeins. So thank you for joining the Ravelry group. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. I really appreciate it. I love comments, likes, subscribes, whole works. It's really appreciated. So thank you. I've worked on a little bit of everything, but not made too much progress on a lot of things, except for one thing. So I'm going to start with faux, because I have one faux to show you, and it's sitting right here. You can see it in the background. I actually have cleaned up. If you haven't noticed, it's not as messy on the floor. This table still needs to be cleaned up, and my sewing cabinet furniture thing, because I have my mechanical machine on top of my treadle sewing machine. That's a little messy, but I've actually, you can see the floor is less messy. Cleaned up in here a bit. So anyways, faux, finished object. I finished the baby blanket, and as soon as I am done recording, this is going to get a bath. Because I need to give it a bath because it's going to the recipient on Saturday, and I kind of need to wash it before then, but I didn't want it to be soaking wet when I recorded the podcast, so here it is. I got a consensus that this was a good baby blanket size. And it is crochet. It'll be good for like a stroller or a car seat or something like that. Or, you know, the crib. People put blankets in cribs anymore? I swear. It's like every time. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know. But that is so the pattern is one that I actually came up with myself. It is posted on Ravelry. It's available. I'll link it in the show notes. It's more of a recipe than a pattern. Because I give you the instructions on what to do, but you can use any yarn, any hook, do it at any gauge you want. I give you the numbers so that you can add and subtract repeats at your leisure. So, it's pretty much a recipe, not a pattern. But I put it up for free, and it's crochet, so if you know how to crochet, you're welcome to it. So I guess I should move on to whips now, because, yeah, whips. Okay, so as I've mentioned before, my local shop owner has a thing where if you knit her a pair of socks, you get a skein of yarn. So on Friday, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll knit you another pair of socks. So I've already knit her one pair. So I turned the heel yesterday. So here's the sock. The pattern is the Impossible Girl. And it's available for free on Ravelry. And the yarn is Regia. It's Arne and Carlos. I'm give myself some slack here so that I can show you. So Regia. And then it's an Arne and Carlos color. The color is, I need to turn it that way. There we go. Color is not that you can read that, is 3760. So it's a 100 gram skein, so I'm going to get 2 pairs of socks out of this. The color seems very Christmassy to me, but she picked the color, so, you know, I'm not complaining. I didn't pull from the other end of the ball for the heel. I just knit it in as I went. Pattern is the Impossible Girl, which is a Doctor Who reference to Clara Oswald. Another thing I've been working on. I started yet another pair of socks last week because I got a bit of starter ice and I figured, well, at least if I cast on socks, it's not that bad. So this is a Mad Tosh sock in black currant, and and you can't really see it because it's a deep purple, like deep purple. That's washed out, but you can see it. I'm doing Hermione's Everyday Sock is the pattern. And I cast this on last week and haven't really done anything with it, but, you know. Because I want to finish these before I go to Florida next week. So I want to get them done. So Let's see if I can whip out a sock and a half between now and Monday. We'll see. So, actually, I'm going to put this back in the bag because I'm keeping the 2 pairs of socks in the same bag together because they fit, because why not? Oh, the bag is from Sewn by Lindsay. It's got a stripper. Oh my god. I cannot believe I just said that. It's got a zipper and a boxed bottom. I like the boxes. The other thing I've been working on, not that I've got too much working on it, but I have been working on my sockhead hat. I've used half of the yarn at this point. I actually weighed the ball. So this is what half of the skein looks like. I made the ribbing longer than the pattern says, and then I've knit, you know, from the marker to, you know, where the needle is since the last time you guys saw it. So I haven't done too much on it, but, you know, I've been working on it. And the sweater is, I got a little burnt out on the sweater because I was knitting it so quickly, so I actually had to stop and put it aside for a few days. And then I knit some rows on it last night. I'm almost to the point where I have to do the under bust decreases to fit it because it's a fitted sweater. So, here it is, held up. So, you know, it's getting there. I'm almost at the point where I need to do the decreases. I have to keep trying it on. It was funny last night on the VKN because I was chatting with the ladies and I needed to try it on to see where it was. And so I turned my camera off, but not my microphone, so I could still talk to them, but they couldn't see me because I had to take my shirt off to put the sweater on, so I didn't, you know, want to, you know, have them all see that. So, you know, so I'm talking to them, but they can't see me. And so I'm talking about, oh, and the sweater fits this way or that way, and yeah. It was actually really funny last night. It was certainly amusing. I don't have, oh, no, it is right here. So I have done a few hexapuffs and some squares in the last week. Not many, but a few. This one, I think I only did 2. Yeah, I think I only did 2. So these are the 2 new hexapuffs. These are both from scrap that I had. And then the new, I have corresponding squares on my blanket for those. Oh, and I added a couple more squares on my blanket than I did hexapuffs because I'd already made hexapuffs out of 70 yarn. So you can see I started a third row. And I extended the bottom row. So this one, and that one are all new. These 3, 1, 2, 3, I'd all made hexapuffs out of before I started this project. So, I didn't, make hexapuffs out of them before putting them in here. But these 2, I made hexapuffs and then I knit the square on. So, that's how that's going. It's coming along okay. I mean, obviously it's not that big yet, but I'm working on it. I am using, these get bent? I think these got bent. Ah, crud. Oh, crud, needle got bent. Crap. Can I bend it back into shape? Oh. Well, that's straighter. Straighter is better than really crooked. See, now I'm fixing the needle because, yeah. You know, now I'm turning it and being like, yeah, is it straight? Is it not straight? It's straighter. I don't want these needles to be ruined. They're from Grandma. No. I think the other one's okay. Yeah, the other one's okay. Alright, that's better. It's not the, like, holy crap, that's bent-ness of it was earlier. Okay. So, what else? I don't really have any other whips that I've worked on, at least. I mean, I have a ridiculous number of whips, but I haven't worked on them all. Those are just the ones I've worked on in the last week. I'm really glad to get that blanket done. It was just, I felt like it was hanging over me. I'm going out to New York on Saturday, so that's when they're going to get the blanket because we're having a birthday party for my cousin's middle child. The blanket's for their youngest child, but whatever. It'll be fine. But also this weekend is New England Fiber Fest, which is at the Big E in Springfield, Mass. And a dyer I know is going to be there. And it'll just be cool. So what my mom and I are going to do, because we have to go to New York on Saturday, is NAF, which is New England Fiber Fest, is shortened to NAF. Oh, actually, the bag, the brown bag. This is from last year. Fiber Festival of New England, or New England Fiber Festival, whatever. But this is the bag from last year. And my notions pouch just fell over. Fun. This is the bag from last year. Because I wasn't doing a podcast last year. So, yeah. Hold on, I gotta pick up my notions pouch because it is all over the place. This entire thing just spilled out all over the floor. Good times. I think I must have knocked it over when I pulled the bag over. So, since NAF is this weekend, and it's Saturday and Sunday, and I can't go Sunday because I'm going to see my grandmother before I go to Florida. Because a week from now, next time I record, I will be in my aunt's spare bedroom in Florida. So that'll be fun. You guys get to see white walls behind me. Because it's her spare bedroom, it's her guest bedroom, it's not, the most decorated place in the world. Sorry, Auntie Ray. I'll leave the door open, and dogs might come for a visit. We'll see. The dogs like having me there. My aunt likes having me there, too. Anyways, back to what I was saying about NAF. So, because we don't have to be at my cousin's house in New York until 2 p.m., we are going to leave town early. We're going to leave home early. Excuse me, I'm trying not to yawn. And I yawned anyways. And we are going to aim to be at NEF when it opens at 9 a.m. And then we're going to hang around for about 3 hours. And then around noonish, we're going to leave and keep going to New York. Because Springfield, where NEF is about the halfway point between where we live in New Hampshire and where we're going in New York. So we figure, 2 hours to get there, or there, leave at noon. My cousin's thing starts at 2 hours to get there. Well, if we're 5 minutes late, nobody cares. We're pretty slack about that. So that's what I'm doing on Saturday. So I will have to remember to put up some pictures and stuff. And, hopefully that goes well. I mean, I can't spend too much money because I really don't have a lot of money to spend. But, it's fun to go and look around and just, meet people. And I can pass out business cards and things like that. So that'll be good. Anything else I want to talk about? No. Well, I have stuff I want to talk about, but it's in a video that I've already recorded on Monday, so there's that. So, about that. So, tonight is spinning at my local shop. We do it once a month on the first Wednesday. Oh, we're also starting to do a book club for our local shop, and we actually chose my suggestion as our book. And I actually already own the book, though I'm probably going to buy a digital copy and let my mom borrow the hard copy. So we are going to do The Lace Reader by Brunonia Berry. This actually is an award-winning book. It's about a family of women from Salem who can read the future and patterns of lace. We figured it was actually pretty relevant to knitting because it's kind of, lace and knitting and yeah. So, should be interesting. I have not started reading it yet because I'm going to give this copy to my mom and get the ebook copy for myself. Because, yeah, boop, boop. That's nothing. So anyway, what I was saying about the spinning thing. So on Monday, I did a Periscope because Jen from the Uncreative Crafter, also known as Stormcoast, she's also known as Stormcoast, that's her username. She asked me after last episode if I could do a spinning thing for Periscope. So I decided, why don't I do a video where I set up and then spin on my wheel? Because I have a foldable portable wheel, so it's a little different than a more traditional style wheel. So I did that on Monday. So I am just going to insert the video here. And enjoy. There we go. Hi, everyone. I was asked to do a spinning video, so this is my first Periscope, and it's my first, oh, that doesn't really help, but I'm using my iPad, and it's hooked up, I've set it up in my living room. I have it propped up so that I can show you guys my spinning wheel. I have a Shacked Sidekick, which is a portable wheel. So I have it folded up right now, and I am going to show you folks how to set it up, and then I will do a short spinning demonstration. So
thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy. I mean, I'll be talking to you guys throughout this thing, but I have to stand up and move now. So here we go. So here's the wheel. It's, like I said, it's portable. It's got a carry strap, and it stands up. It's set up differently than a more traditional spinning wheel because the actual wheel part that spins when you're using it is actually set up on edge to you instead of, so when I'm spinning, the wheel is like this instead of like a more traditional castle style spinning wheel where it's like this. So it comes with a carry strap, and it has these rods to hook the strap on, both the top and the bottom. And so now I'm going to set it up for you folks. So first you have to take the strap off, because once you set up and spinning, you don't want the strap interfering with the rotation of the wheel. So the flyer is stored on the underside of one of the treadles, and it simply slips out like that. And your whirls are stored on the sides here. Yeah, I know, I said take the strap on, but I have to take the strap off. But anyways, I am using a high-speed whirl for the spin I'm currently doing because I'm spinning fairly thin yarn because I want to make a fingering weight yarn. So I took the whirl off I'm going to use, and this is you can see the different ratios on there, and I'll show you how that sets up in a moment. So now the top two pieces here, these unfold. You can store a bobbin on the wheel itself, so it has things here. You just open them up, and you can stand up the pieces. Now, I take the bobbin out, and I take my flyer, I put the bobbin on the flyer, then I put the whirl on the flyer, like so, and then I slip it into the top holder parts here. Now, they have to be straight up and down, so it usually takes a couple moments of adjusting everything here. So then I have my tension cord. Move it a little closer so you can see. So this is what keeps the bobbin from spinning too quickly, and it goes over this groove in the bobbin here. And then I have the drive shaft of the wheel, which I put on the smallest one. And I have to make sure it's hooked over the pulley that is underneath. And I actually need to switch this around because I put it on backwards. So let's do that. Because I wasn't paying attention because I'm talking to you guys. Oh, that's the watch is a Fitbit. It's one of the higher end Fitbit ones. So put that back in. Make sure that's up and down. That is level. Of course, it can be a little finicky, and I'm doing it at doing it sideways now, which is not the way I normally work on it. All right. Doing all these adjustments, so now I get I messed it up. Time to try again. I'm not used to talking while I'm doing this, so I'm a little distracted, but here we go. There we go. Now I got all the cords in place. The drive band is in place. Everything is in, nice and tight. Now I need to set up the treadles. So the treadles fold up on either side of the wheel, and they just have little screws that hold them in place. So I take both the screws out, and of course I just dropped it. And so then they fold out, like so. Push them together in the center, and then I connect them to the treadle armature so that I can start spinning. It's a little awkward to do in my lap. I'm used to it being on the ground when I do this. So the treadles, so once I put these screws in, the treadles will be all set and I'll be ready to spin. It's actually pretty easy to set up and break down, and the portability of it makes it really nice. I know you can't see my face, but the portability of it is really nice. So here I am, all set up, all ready to spin. Yes, my boyfriend collects swords as a hobby, so there are a lot of swords in the background. We have a botleth that way, like an actual Klingon botleth. So I have my hook to thread the spinning wheel, and so I take the yarn and I thread it through, and this is a little hard to show you because, you know, it has to be. So I have it threaded through, and I have my fiber here. Now I'm going to turn this slightly sideways so you can see what I'm doing and in the light. And so I have to pull out a little bit of the fiber here to get going. There we go. And I just overlap it a little bit, and I give it a spin in the right direction, get it going, and then I just start treadling. And I'm sorry if I'm not seeing everyone's comments. I'm not used to doing this. This is my first one, so, but here it is. I pre-strip and pre-draft all my fiber so that it's easier to spin when I come to sit at my wheel, and I don't need to do it as I go. I do spin right-handed, even though I'm left-handed, because that's just how I learned, how I was taught. It doesn't really matter which way you spin on the wheel, as long as you're consistent in your spinning, as long as you always spin your singles in the same direction, and then you always ply your yarn in the other direction. So what this is making is, I am making yarn, is what I'm making. I am a knitter, spinner, crocheter. I do a lot of crafting. And what this does is, it makes yarn. Think the wheel from Sleeping Beauty, except this is a more modern engineered version. Because this is collapsible and foldable, and it takes up a lot less space in one of those older style wheels. Blankets take a lot of yarn, and it can actually be quite expensive, so I tend not to sell my crafts, simply because I wouldn't be able to get what they're worth for the time I spend on them and the cost of materials. Now, I am spinning this very fine. I'm actually going to pull the chair I have the iPad on closer so you can see it a little bit better. Here we go. So I have to keep it taut to keep the tension on it, because otherwise it'll curl up. See that right there? So I have to keep tension on it as I spin. And the bobbin fills up as I go. I do have an empty bobbin here. I have a full bobbin and an empty bobbin I can show you folks. So here's the empty bobbin that I start with. The yarn that's already on here is called a leader, and it helps me get started spinning. And then I have a bobbin I've already filled with my spinning. And once I fill this bobbin, I'm going to do what's called plying. And twist. So these are both twisted clockwise. So when I ply them together, I will then twist them counterclockwise so that the singles, as each individual piece is called, twist together and stay together, so that I can then knit something with them. I'm thinking I'm going to knit a shawl with this yarn once I'm done with it, but I haven't quite made up my mind yet, but we'll see. But as you can see, because I have this on a very high speed of spin, the flyer here is basically a blur to you folks. It's a blur to me too, but the camera's making it really blurry. There are hooks on the flyer that I hook the yarn into, so I can move it up and down the bobbin to fill the bobbin. There's 6 hooks, so I can put it at 6 different places on the bobbin, and so I try to fill the bobbin as evenly as possible. And I do the same thing. And there's a hole in the flyer here that the yarn goes through, and then it comes out the hole here so that you can then put it on the bobbin. And most wheels have a direction they like to spin in, that they'll start spinning in a specific direction. And if you want them to go the other direction, you need to kind of get them going that way. My wheel likes to spin clockwise. So I do all of my initial spinning of the singles, which is what this is called. I'm spinning a single here. I do that in the clockwise direction. And then when I go to ply, I basically make my wheel spin the other direction and to ply it together. If you've ever looked at yarn, you'll see that most times it's more than one strand twisted together. Rope is made the exact same way. Most cords that are twisted cords, not braided cords, are all made this way. So not quite sure what else to talk about here. I can just spin for a few minutes and I can see if people have questions that pop up. I do have to look at my fingers a little bit, but I can look away to look at the screen. But I had a few people in here, which is nice considering it's my first Periscope ever, and I'm totally new to this and I have no idea what I'm doing. But I just think it's really interesting, to learn to spin and everything. And I learned first on a drop spindle that I got, and I was taught by someone who used to dye spinning fiber. She doesn't anymore, but she lives about a half hour from me, and she taught me. She invited me up to her place, and she taught me. And you don't need much to get started. I mean, you can use a pencil and a CD and some fiber and get started. It's not expensive to get into, though it can get expensive very quickly. Because, this wheel retails for around $1,000, depending on where you get it. I got it on sale because it was a used floor model, and I paid only, I paid like $7.75 for it. So I didn't pay full price, but it's still a very expensive investment. I got this wheel back in April of this year, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm trying to incorporate spinning into my day more. I'm actually on my lunch break right now from my full-time regular job, and I'm going to face the camera directly again here because this is not, that's better. My face was totally washed out there. But, I actually find it very relaxing to spin, and I can do it when people are over if we have guests. We were watching Hellsing Ultimate this weekend, and I was spinning while watching Hellsing Ultimate, which, granted, if we were watching it subtitled, I wouldn't have been able to do that, but we were watching it with the English audio, so I was able to spin and watch anime at the same time. I'm hoping to gift my handspun to people that I like, maybe, sooner, but this spin is definitely for me. I really like the colors. It's a merino fiber, and it's from Malabrigo, and I had to pre-draft the fiber a lot to get it ready to spin, so I took the braid and I split up the braid into strips of fiber. You can see all the strips here, so that I can pull a strip as needed and add it in to start spinning. And I'll do that here because I'm actually getting close to the end of what I'm working on, so I will actually add in a new strip for you folks. I will spin enough so that I can show you how I add in a new strip. Amazingly, my cat doesn't attack it all the time, which you'd think she would, but she actually doesn't attack it too much. Only if I dangle it in front of her face, but she doesn't really go after it, which I think is nice. Actually, I probably should have adjusted my hook here. So I'm changing hooks now to fill the bobbin more evenly, and I just continue on from there. And because I pre-drafted the fiber, it goes pretty quickly actually. If I hadn't pre-drafted the fiber, it would take me longer for each couple inches of yarn, because I pull out a couple of inches of fiber every time I pull on it. And so if I hadn't pre-drafted, it would be a lot thicker and a lot harder to pull those fibers out to twist them up. And so I've really enjoyed my wheel. I'm not like some people who have multiple spinning wheels. I'm still fairly new to the craft, or at least to wheel spinning. I spun on a drop spindle for 2 years before I learned before I got my spinning wheel. I knew how to use a spinning wheel before I ever bought a spinning wheel, but I took the plunge for the spinning wheel earlier this year. That was what I used my tax refund on earlier this year, was this, and I've really enjoyed it, and I can certainly make yarn a lot quicker, especially because I want to knit with my yarn, not just spin yarn for the sake of spinning it. I want to actually be able to use what I make. Now, this is actually going to take me a lot longer than I thought it would for me to reach the point. But it's, this piece is moving pretty quickly. It's getting sucked into the wheel. Because I have it on a high ratio, which means that the flyer goes around at least 10 times for each push I do with my feet. Now, this is a double treadle wheel, which means that I'm using both my feet to power the rotation of the wheel. But you can get spinning wheels that are single treadle as well, so you're only using one foot. And I can, in fact, do this wheel as a single treadle. It's not quite set up for it, and it takes a little more effort, as you can tell, but it is possible to run this as a single treadle. So if I ever actually hurt myself, if I hurt one of my legs, I can, in fact, spin. But as you can see, it wobbles a lot, and it doesn't like it. It goes a lot more smoothly when I use both treadles. And so that's how this is working up. And as you can see, the color changes as I go. Now, this yarn was dyed a multitude of different colors. And as you can see, this bobbin is different colors than the one on here. This is more greens right now, and this is more blue and purple. But there are blue and purple sections in the fiber I have, and so those will show up in this eventually. The section I just happen to be working on right now is more yellow and green. But there are purples in the section I'm holding in my hand. So this yarn is going to be very colorful when it's finished. And when I have both bobbins full, I will take that empty third bobbin and put the two strands together onto it. Now I'm going to have to fill the bobbin, break the yarn, and then fill the bobbin again, because each of the braids I got fills one bobbin, and when you put them together, that's 2 bobbins worth of yarn. However, I only have 1 spare bobbin, so I'm going to have to improvise slightly. I do want to get a jumbo flyer, which means this is bigger, so that I can fit a bigger bobbin on here, so I can ply more yarn without having to break it into multiple pieces, basically. So I find it relaxing to spin. I do need to work on my posture when sitting here, because if you hunch over, your back can get sore after a while, but I'm definitely, it's definitely something I enjoy, and I should do it way more often. Knitting is my main craft, but, I also enjoy spinning and crochet, and I really need to work on my quilting and my cross-stitch. Those are sorely behind in, especially because I'm doing a quilt block of the month and I haven't done my blocks for 3 months. I kind of need to do that. Maybe I'll do a sewing demo later this week when I pull those out, because I am planning to work on them this week. So maybe I'll set up the iPad again, propping it up like I have now so that it's stable, and doing, showing that I cut and sew fabric. I think if I put the iPad on my computer desk, you could see both the sewing machine and the table that I cut. Either that, or I can move something so that I can get everything in the shot, because I can't do horizontal on Periscope. Yeah, I found that out. I can't do horizontal. So, which kind of sucks, because I can't have a wide camera view, but it could be worse. So I just have to figure out how much I can squish into a vertical layout instead of a horizontal layout. Because when I record my podcast, it's obviously a horizontal layout. So when I stick this video in my podcast on Wednesday, there's going to be huge black bars on either side. But sorry, guys. That's just going to be the way it is. So, thank you for watching. I'm getting close to the end of this piece here, and once I add in the next piece, I'm actually going to call it a day, because I'm getting close to the end of my lunch break here, and I have to get back to work, because while I'm not getting paid for this, I'm getting paid for the other thing. And paychecks are a nice thing to have. I can buy more yarn with them, along with, the necessities like food and rent. So I'm getting close to the end here. I only have a little bit of fuzz left in my hand, and I'll show you what I do when we get there. I actually treadle pretty quickly, and the treadling speed also determines how quickly the flyer rotates. Now I'm treadling quickly because I'm doing a thin yarn, and I want the yarn to hold together, to have a lot of twist in it so that it's stable. Now a thicker yarn doesn't require as much twist to still be stable, and if I was making a thicker yarn, then I wouldn't have to put as much twist in it for it to hold together, because it would in fact be more fibers there to grip one another. So here we are. I'm at the last little bit of this piece of fiber. So what I do is I leave a little section, and I take the end of the next section, see how it's fluffed out, and then just kind of overlay them together so that I'm holding them on top of one another, and then I just continue spinning. And it would actually, there we go. Sometimes it's a little finicky to get going again for some reason, but I managed it, and now the new piece of fiber is connected, and the old piece is finished, and now the new piece is attached, and I can just continue spinning. And I have 3 minutes left in my lunch break, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And hopefully, I'll get more requests for different videos and different things I can do in the future. And thank you for watching. I really appreciate it.
All right. Now that you've spent 20 minutes watching me spin and ramble and talk to people on the internet, I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And I host a virtual knit night every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's tomorrow night, at least for me, because it's Wednesday when I'm recording. Anyone's welcome to come join. I'd be happy to have you. We use Google Hangouts, which means there's a maximum of 10 people that can be in the chat. But I haven't actually hit that limit yet, so if you want to come, come. I really appreciate talking to people. So, and then next week I will be in Florida. I'm leaving on Tuesday, the 10th, and I get back the 19th. Excuse me. But I will be online and available while I'm down there. I keep yawning. I don't know why. Because yeah, I'm bringing my work laptop and I'm going to work while I'm down there, so it's not a vacation. It's go somewhere else and enjoy family kind of thing. So, yeah. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. You can find the show notes in Ravelry or on my blog. So, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So, I think that's it. And I will see everyone from Florida next week. Bye!